Welcome back to the channel, Gods and Goddesses in Training. I'm Uncle Makara, all relations. Today we're going to be speaking about the Lokas. The Lokas are realms, okay, in the Hindu cosmology. And this is going to be a very, very interesting topic because we're going to be breaking it down from the Nexus. So the Nexus is a group of spirit guides that I work with, including our pathwork and our pantheon, which is essentially Primal Sutra. The Primal Sutra Nexus is a group of spirit guides that we work with that's related to peak performance shamanism, okay? So we want to get things done. We want to be efficient. We want to be effective, right? So let's get started today, okay? We're looking at this from a very spiritual lens. So a little bit woo-woo stuff out there, but I promise you it's going to give you value in your day-to-day life, right? That's what we want to really merge these two realms together to try to understand that it's an internal process that you're going through, right? And once you get this, it's really going to max you out. It's really going to max you out, and it's going to be an incredible deep dive into these realms. So let's realm max, okay? Realm maxing. Let's realm max today, and we'll figure out more as we go along. Of course, I'm getting some of this through the Hindu guides that I primarily am connected to, including my Ishtadeva, Shivaji. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, just sharing it with the tribe first. Make sure I pin these. All right, welcome to Jewel July. Okay, we're in a new month, Jewel July, and it's going to be very, very exciting, very, very new. And there's going to be a lot of different installations, different downloads that we get throughout this time. And hopefully it's going to help us all out maximize, right, our potentials, maximize our potentials, because that's really what we're here to do as peak performance shamans, as priests and priestess beasts on this journey, on this path. Okay. So without further ado, let's get started. I want to share the whiteboard. Okay. I want to share the whiteboard because this will make things way less complicated. I want to see if I can find an imagery that can just help us stay on track. Something that will align us. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. This is a great one. I'll show you guys another one too. We'll use both. Okay. Okay. Cool. I hope you guys can see this, witness this, and everything's working fine. Let me just double check in the chat. Can you guys see this and hear this? Just let me know. All right. Well, let's get started. So, what exactly are the Lokas? Okay. What exactly are they? The Lokas, according to the Primal Sutra Nexus, are not mythical heavens or hells. They are actually states of consciousness. Okay. So they're frequency domains and dimensional stations that are mapped onto your subtle body. Okay. As you notice, it's a part of you, right? It's a part of you. So the oversoul and the undersoul, as we understand it, is kind of like looked at through this map. Of course, we have our own map at Primal Sutra. Let me show you guys our map as well. Uh, let's see here. Now, of course, we're not exactly looking at the Lokas like that, but damn. All right. Can't pull it up right now. But if you guys want to check, you guys can just go to the Primal Sutra Instagram page. I can show you actually right here. All right. Hold on. Just got to pull this up. Okay. So looks sort of like this. Oh, let me close this. Stop sharing for a second. So it sort of looks like this, okay? Whereas you have the oversoul above heaven, undersoul below hell. And of course, this is using a lot of new age tech, theosophy, and people who have discovered these different pathways, right? Like the stellar gateway, the soul star, the earth star, the dolphin matrix. This is very new age. This is very classified information in a sense, but I'm sharing it with you guys regardless. If you want to learn more about this, of course, and unveil advanced teachings tailored towards your own enlightenment, then you will get access to your own map, right? So this is a good map to look at in a sense, right? As you're climbing up this ladder and figuring out what are your main deities. Even there's a hip chakra deity and a telepathic ear chakra deity. So we're not overlooking anything or underrating anything, right? We're kind of like looking at all of this as this giant map. And if you can access this map within, then you can obviously you can start activating your dormant realm powers in a sense. Okay, you try to access the state of mind that you can carry with you. It's all in a state of mind, so you have to carry that state of mind with you, keep it alive, keep it vibrant, right? So anyway, every loka is like a mirror of mind, a gate in the spine, a test of your vibration. Okay, so the 14 lokas, seven above, seven below, as above, so below, right, are not places you travel to after death. Okay, they are bandwidths of reality you tune into depending on your karmic imprint. Three things: your karmic imprint, your energetic architecture, and spiritual discipline. It's dependent on these three things. And you're not ascending planets, right? You're shifting realms within yourself. So the higher lokas, Satya, Tapa, Jhana, Maha, Svar, uh, Bhuvar, Bhur, these are the chakras of divine alignment. Okay. So the higher lokas are ruled by a divine alignment. Okay. The lower lokas, I don't think of them as evil. I think of them as densified power zones. Okay. So more tamasic down here, more sattvic, more rajasic, but more sattvic, right? So as you start to understand the higher lokas, you don't just visit them, you become worthy of them. They unlock through breath, mantra, tapas, stillness, devotion, a one-pointed will. Okay. And the lower lokas, Atala to Patala, are not evil. Okay, they're densified power zones that are ruled by desires, entities, temptations, tests. Okay, entities here offer material rewards and also dark siddhis. Okay, but always at a karmic cost. Always at a karmic cost. So you have to be very, very careful. And also certain beings, like if you're in a different lok, they can appear very different, right? Like let's say you come across one deity in a specific lok, and then you go transcend and you go to another lok. It's almost like you will see the fractals, right? You'll see the differences in their energetics. And the Gayatri mantra encodes all the seven lokas, so that's why it's really a valuable one that a lot of people do in yoga, because each syllable is a switch in your bioenergetic circuitry, right? With mudra, mantra, dhanya, you don't just chant it, you become the stargate, right? Right? So in the path of Primal Sutra, lokas are initiation zones. Every loka represents a stage of self-mastery. And your consciousness, it chooses where to dwell. No matter where your body is, you could be sitting in a crowded city, but vibrating in Jhana Loka. You could be meditating in a cave, but trapped in Vitala if your ego is inflamed. So this is what I want you to really understand here, is that lokas are your inner worlds. So Your spine is your temple. Your breath is your chariot. Your guru is the gatekeeper. Okay? So every loka is real, but only as real as you are conscious. Only as real as you are conscious. Okay? Also, we have our coat of arms designed quite recently. I just want to share this as well, as it's very, very powerful. I'll help you guys understand the meaning of it later. Um, but I want to show you this coat of arms that designed by TXL. Shout out TXL, one of our adepts. Okay. Vinicit omnia veritas. Okay. Truth conquers all. Okay. Celestis Imperium Enterias is heavenly empire within or celestial inner empire. So this directly correlates to us tapping into these higher lokes and just accessing it in our known bhuloka, right? Our earthly realm. And this is where of course, the churning of the ocean of milk, right? You guys know that story. Garudas and Nagas, right? Pulling against each other. Of course, the Nagas are in the lower lokes, Garudas are in the higher lokes, right? And so a Nagaruda knows how to balance both of these realms in the earthly one, right? Through this kind of interesting mechanism, let's just call it, right? You let the Loka initiate you or burn you clean. Okay. So the seven higher lokas, right? The Bhuloka, the earth plane, the physical realm we know, right? It's a realm of karma, choice, incarnation. So you're here to master form, ego, and duality in this realm. Now, the astral plane or the subtle ether, the Bhurva Loka, okay, let's kind of zoom into these. Okay. The Bhurva Loka, okay. This is more so the astral, okay? So that would be where pranic energies and elemental spirits dwell. It's also the bridge between physical and divine. So like dreams, telepathy, spirits, that kind of stuff. And also it's inhabited by a lot of siddhas. Siddhas are people with spiritual powers and psychics and guides, okay? So Swargloka is like the heaven of the devas, okay? The swag lok, as we call it, right? Swag lok. Swargaloka is the heaven of the devas. It's the realm of celestial pleasures. It's ruled by Indra. So you may access this loka when you're in lucid bliss, when you're in joy, when you're in states of grace, blissfulness, right? Ananda. Many souls temporarily reside here between lives due to good karma. Very interesting, right? Then we have Maharloka, right? Right here. Maharloka is the plane of the great rishis. It's the realms of the higher intellect, the sacred knowledge, the tapas, right? Sages like Bhigru and Batista, they dwell there. They dwell in the Maharloka. Okay? And it's accessed through like deep meditation, higher jhana, like deep devotion. Okay? Because to access the realms and the wisdom of the great rishis, you have to be really, really tapped into deep meditation states. Okay? Jhana Loka is the plane of the wisdom being. So beings here are beyond birth and death. So they're the four Kumaras, if you've ever heard of it, right? Sanat being one of them. Beings are of eternal youth, essentially. Eternal youth, the fountain of youth, you could call it, whatever that is, right? Just the youthfulness, the exuberance of youthfulness dwells there through that. Okay? That's Jhana Loka. Jhana Loka also symbolizes innocence beyond ego. Okay? Innocence beyond ego. Then, of course, we have Tapaloka. Tapaloka is the realm of fiery yogis and tapasvins. So here we have raw stillness, extreme penance, radiant ascetics, Energy here is quite intense. This is like Kundalini territory up here, man. This is wow, right? You can probably get your Kundalini activated if you tap into the tapo, right? If you tap into the tapo loga, right? You can then know that it's about refining your lower desires into a higher purpose, a divine purpose. Okay. Hey there, my love. Oh, you're my biggest fan. That's so cute. Top fans. Amazing. All right, so let's tap in. Yeah, the last one is Satya Loka, which basically means the highest loka. This is the residence of Brahma, the creator god, as well as beings here are immersed in non-dual awareness, unity with source, beyond karma, souls here on the brink of moksha. Okay. So now that we discussed the higher lows, let's actually look into the lower ones. Okay. Let's talk about Atala. So Atala is almost like it's a realm of indulgence, base pleasures, right? Distraction. Vitala is like a shadow sexuality. Okay. So that means like dark tantra, um, very shadow sexuality, dark tantra, misuse of energies, right? Sutala is the home of King Bali, a paradox of devotion and ego. Okay. It's quite a confusing realm in my own experience with it. Okay. Tala Tala is the realm of sorcery, illusions, manipulations. Okay. Rasatala is a primal survival instincts, like the fight or flight dominion. Okay. It's like fight, flight, freeze dominion. Okay. It's that primal drive, that aggression, you know, it's that. Then you have Mahatala. That's the home of the Naga beings, right? Where the deep subconscious spheres root. Okay. I would actually say Mahatala is above the Rasatala, but anyway, that's up to you to kind of see them in whatever order that you may, you know? So Patala is like the lowest realm, intense ignorance, but very, very high power, right? Very, very high power. As we've discussed, right? Um, one is a densified power zone, and one is a divine alignment, right? That's kind of a good way to sum it up and to understand them. Okay. Okay, so it is Mahatala and then Rasatala and then Patala and then Anantashesha is here, right? Tapped in. Very super slow. If you've ever heard Ryan G channel Ananta before, you've noticed how slow the delivery is. Okay. Now, these aren't hells in the Western sense, okay, guys? They're actually denser frequencies of our mind and karma. So they're not punishments, but they're actually classrooms for shadow integration. Okay. So this means that each loka, each realm is a frequency of your own inner being. You travel these realms without dying, right? You might have heard of Mount Meru as well, right? It's also relevant in Buddhism too. Okay. So you're in the Patalas. When you're reactive, stuck in lust, fear, control. When you're meditating, serving, or in awe, you're in Swarglok or Mahalok. Um, when you're clear, you're pure, you're detached and loving wisdom, you're probably touching the topmost realm, the Satyalok. Um, think of it like an elevator of consciousness, right? There are lower consciousness states and higher consciousness states. And then there's this state of where we're living right now, the Bulo, right? So each loka is a frequency of your own being. We get this. Now, in the alchemical mysticism, the lokas can also be planes of your aura. Okay. So to ascend, you don't escape, you integrate and transcend. So to graduate from Bhuloka is to awaken the souls while rooted in the body. Right. So moksha, enlightenment, is not about abandoning the Lokes. It's about realizing you were never bound by them. Okay? Are we realizing this, guys? So that means, let's say the Loke tiers, right? Let's say 1 to 7 are the higher Lokes, right? Higher Lokas. And this is where we have soul mastery, evolution of light, union. Okay. Then, of course, we have 8 to 14. The lower Lokes, which is basically descent into shadow, karma, and raw primality. Okay. Then we have beyond the realms. Beyond would just be moksha. Okay, guys. And this is like pure awareness. Pure awareness. So that means it's a cessation of loka hopping. You stop hopping the lokas and you just become the pure awareness. Okay? Pure awareness. So if you want, we can also delve deeper into this. So this isn't just Vedic cosmology. Okay? This is the inner cartography of the savage soul. This is how I see it, at least. Okay? We can have the Vedas. People have studied the Vedas, argue with me for years and years, but this is how I see it, and this is all my perspective. So just give, read the disclaimer before you're tapped into this. Okay? Listen, the 14 lokas are not myths. They're strata of consciousness etched into your nervous system, coded into your DNA, whispering through all of your different dreams, right? So this is a real map of spiritual warriorship, right? Where these realms, I don't see them as destinations. They're initiations, okay? This is the soul school, whatever is going on, right? Satyalok. Let's say one for each one, right? Satyalok is where your Sahasrara is blazing white in pure gnosis, your crown chakra. Tapalok is when your spine when you sit unmoved in the fire of tapasya. Okay. What exactly is tapasya? Well, tapasya is just basically divine discipline, sacred heat, inner fire that transforms. Um, Basically to willingly walk through the fire. Okay. To willingly walk through the flame of transformation. All right. So your spine, you sit unmoved by the fire of transformation. All right. And penance, right? Shan Lok is a field of mental purity. Okay. Is the field of mental purity where mind-born thoughts become your disciples. Damn. Okay, damn. Maharlok is your Akashic lineage, where your soul ancestors still watch you from the void. Okay? Swarglok, or as we call it, Swaglok, is the illusion of reward. But power borrowed without Dharma burns. Right? Of course, we have The Bhuvarlok. This is kind of the threshold space. It's a liminal space. It's the threshold where channelers and mystics dance between veils. Okay. And then, of course, Burlok, which is this realm, this earthly realm, is our battlefield or battleground, right? So this is our battleground where sacred soil, right? This earth, where karma sharpens will. And then we descend into these different realms, okay? Atala would be the realm of like seduction. This would be Vitala would be like unresolved grief. This is how the Nexus is seeing it. Humility and paradox, Sutala. Tala Tala is like illusion tech, okay? Maya architects and mind control. Mahatala, of course. Well, let's break down Mahatala because Mahatala is like serpent power, right? It's where Kundalini before it's awakened. So I've worked with a lot of the Naga beings before, and that energy is primal, man. It's kind of scary to be down there because your deepest fears get activated when you go down there. And it's really, really terrifying, man. Like it's not for the faint-hearted. Okay, don't go into these lower realms thinking that, oh, I'm just gonna get some treasure out of it. I'm gonna do some shadow work on a Sunday, right? No, 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 no. This needs training. This needs protocol before you dive into these realms. Okay. Rasatal is the war between your inner demon and divine law. Okay. And Patala is the test of devotion, man, where where the Hanuman rips through all sorcery with breath and will. Okay. If anybody's sending you black magic, just use Hanuman's energy. Okay. And for the initiate of Primal Sutra, this isn't a myth, it's a multidimensional dojo. So that means that each lok is a chakra gate. Each patala is a lower ego layer to alchemize, right? Ego layer to alchemize, higher realms to golden shadow, right? Golden shadow, shadow. Main realm here. So this is kind of the way I understand it. And again, Sanatan Dharma kind of decoded this, but Primal Sutra is activating this, man. Like, who's talking about this in the modern age like this? With this much swagger, right? Nobody. And if they are, it's fragmented. I'm putting it all together. I'm bringing this for the most savage and relevant points for our path. Okay? So you are in this Bur Loka, man. You're thriving here actually. But it's your ultimate battlefield. You were sent here not to escape karma, but to transmute it faster. This Loka is the forge. The alchemy happens here, right? Alchemy happens here. This is what you need. You need to become an alchemist in this realm. Otherwise, you're going to get fucked, right? Because the thing is, when you can transmute things, when you can look at the negative and even make it positive, that's what cognitive behavior therapy is, right? That's what I teach. But at the same time, if you understand, each loka maps to a frequency in your subtle body. Each mudra, each mantra, each breath seals or opens a portal. And you are the cosmic staircase. So the lower ones, the patalas, are almost like I said, densified power zones, right? They're places of power, but karmic entanglement. So you can invoke spirits, gain fame, manipulate reality, but you will be spiritually taxed. You will be spiritually taxed. And that's why most humans stay stuck in the cycle of rebirth, samsara. Okay? They're just on this hamster wheel of samsara, unable to not get spiritually taxed. So if you find a way to let me know, if you find a way to go to the lower realms without being spiritually taxed, you let me know. Okay. I'm interested. Okay, get in touch with me, yo. Higher lokas are like Rishi's own Siddha realms, Deva temples. This is where your sadhana is pure, where you get, dream visitations from sages like Ramana Maharshi. You're no longer learning here, man. You're receiving directly from source. Patanjali, the creator of yoga, who is believed to be a naga, by the way, is believed to be a snake. That's why the whole snake imagery, by the way, is connected to it. So Patanjali actually taught the five states of mind. Well, most live like monkeys, butterflies, or mules, but through Agra, one-pointed fire, and Nirodha, which is cessation, you become a living god, a walking Janmamukta, right? So through this true samadhi, are like these grounded ascension, right? No skipping steps, no bypassing tapas. Experience without ego equals transcendence. Experience with attachment is a spiritual intoxication, right? So going into the other religions a little bit, they say Allah is formless, but they say Jesus has form in Christianity. In Hinduism, it's both formless and form. Are we getting this, guys? I'm just giving you a reference for this so that you understand. Your Ishtadeva, your family deity, will meet you at your death. When you die, if your sadhana is very, very deep, okay, doesn't mean you, hey, this is not only, I mean, I'm not only saying that if only for Indian you get this. No, you can access this as a Westerner. I truly believe that. Okay, I truly believe that. Maybe others are like, no, you must go through the Hindu processes and you need to burn a bunch of candles and you need to do this, 108 times. Listen, rules are made to be modified, right? You follow the rules for a while, but then you start innovating. This innovation didn't come from anybody. It came from the rishis, right? So what if you could activate your inner rishi? What if you activate your inner sage, right? Because then the true sadhu doesn't beg from the gods. He becomes their instrument. No demands, only service. That's how Brahma Vidya awakens in the heart, okay? You don't transcend sex, sleep, food, or fear by denying them. You transmute them through divine alignment. Worship through the senses, not to be enslaved by them. You can still do these things, but again, you're not worshiping through the senses. You're not enslaved by your senses, your sense perceptions. As we spoke about yesterday in the overthinking, what does flow state look like, feel like, smell like, etc., right? So Bruce Lee and Messi weren't just skilled, they lived in Agra, one-pointed transcendence, right? Ramana Maharshi didn't die, he merged into the Satchitananda, okay? Truth, bliss, consciousness. So the greatest saints still operate from the Rishi realms to guide you if you dare to listen. The real keyword is if you dare to listen. You are the Loka, you are the labyrinth, you are the liberation. And Primal Sutra isn't just a path, it's a frequency war cry for those reclaiming their divinity and form. Let the gods watch. Next sadhana begins, right? Let's get it. What's this about, Sumed? We're talking about the different realms in the Hindu cosmology, brother. And it's really, really fascinating, multifaceted, but I'm just breaking it down from my own perspective. So this is like a multi-story building of the cosmos, right? Your spine is the elevator. Each chakra is like a doorway to a realm. You either ascend or you descend, depending on your purity, intention, and activation. So the microcosm always mirrors the macrocosm, right? So every realm, every loka exists within your body, brother, right? It's mapped from root to crown, and you don't visit these realms externally. You become the frequency that unlocks them. Just like a shivling, if you've ever seen a Shiva's, uh, uh, kind of like a phallic object, but it's actually a union of male and female. If you understand the cosmic portal, it's a creative force that isn't just sex, but it's like the sperm is the Shiva's flashlight, and the womb is the temple, right? So the union, the sacred union, that births galaxies, not just children. So most people live like trapped pixels in a kind of fucking snake and ladder game, right? Like life becomes Maya when you forget it's all simulation of karmic qualification. So every Loka is a test, and every realm or Loka is a reflection of your self-discipline and intent, right? So that's why devas, saints, and rishis still actively operate from the higher Lokas. Have you ever had Neem Karoli Baba in one of your dreams? Or Ramana Maharshi, or Batista, or Vishwamitra, any of these, gurus showing up? They aren't memories, they're living frequencies accessible in these altered states of mind, dreams, advanced sadhana. So your guru isn't a teacher, it's a gatekeeper. True gurus can escort you between the loks. During dreams, during transformation, during death, it's got to be in that liminal space, though. When you surrender fully, they awaken in your Dev Drishti, your divine sight. So you can actually access entities there for material gain in the patal or the rasatal, the lower realms of pleasure, power, pitfall, but they'll charge you karmic interest. I mean, I've seen too many people fall into spiritual ruin by doing this. The same with the Western pantheon and understanding, right? Like, oh, let me just play around with the Goetia. No, 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 no. You're not going to play around in the Goetia. That's not for playing around, right? Gayatri mantra is like a Loka activator. And death is not the end, it's just relocation. So where you go after death depends on how much weight your consciousness can carry. Okay? Your deities, your sadhana, and your karmic weights decide your next realm, decide your next loka, not your rituals alone. Okay? So the real liberation is not visiting the higher lokas, it's becoming the consciousness that holds no attraction or aversion to any realm. That's Satya. That's Nirvakalpa. That's Brahma Vidya. You guys are getting this? So without direct experience or anubhava, you're just parroting scriptures, right? But if you get attached to the experience, you fall. Only witnessing without grasping liberates. Hanuman, all these immortals, Ashwatthama, these still walk the earth, these beings, right? They're called Chiranjivas. They anchor the bridge between dimensions. You might not understand, thinking, why you guys are worshiping a monkey, right? People will say that. But you might not even see with the divine eyes yet, right? So that's the thing. If you're obsessed with power, status, and indulgence, you're looping in these lower realms. You're craving truth, you're craving service and silence, but you're trying to climb your way out of this baggage, right? But the loka you operate from is the level of your choices, my friends. If you're obsessed with power, status, and indulgence, you're probably looping in Swara or Rasatal, man. Okay? So the one who plays life like a staircase of devotion, not as a board game of ego, qualifies for the real exit. Okay? This is Loka Mastery 101. Next is style. Okay? No fluff. I didn't give you any fluff. Only transcendence through the truth. Okay? Only transcendence through truth. You're not here to chase realms. You're here to become a bridge between them all. And that's the truth of it. Okay? Venicit omnia veritas, celestis imperium entorius. We are Primal Sutra. Thank you so much for tapping in. I hope this gave you a different perspective, a unique framework to understand these different realms. As you start realm maxing, you might find it very difficult at first, but just understand that if you can just simplify that noise, right? You understand, I'm going lower, I'm facing my fears, I'm going higher, I'm tapping into love, that unconditional love energy, right? And once you can maintain both love and fear, you can understand both, right? You can understand your survival and why you need negativity. You can understand your positivity and why you need that love, that higher rendition of that love, right? Where you're actually thriving, you're accessing this higher bandwidth of beauty, truth, blissfulness, wonder, awe, childlike effervescence, right? Back to a child again. A lot of people, they kind of make deities, they cutify them, right? But I honestly understood, like, let's say Ganesha, right? Like, he's actually like, some people like treat Ganesha like a baby, like a small child, But I saw Ganesha when I first came across that energy. It was like a wrathful being to me, right? This is, I mean, honestly, let me show you guys an imagery. You guys will get this maybe more. At first, when I came across this energy, I was like, damn, that's terrifying, right? Why did he show up like this? Because I needed to overcome my fear in order to access the root chakra, because he's the guardian of the root chakra, right? So I always want you guys to understand this, that just because a being is showing up, it's going to show up and adapt to to something that your psyche will latch onto and understand. So it'll give you like a semi-attachment. But if you start attaching to that figure, it's not going to be as good as you understanding that this energy is actually a part of me, right? And these beings are accessible through when I change my consciousness around. Okay? So when you're living in higher consciousness, you're amplifying it. Hey there, Abel. Abel Shambo, welcome, brother. So yeah, this is it, man. And this is actually behind me. It kind of looks like one of the Lokes, right? That's why I had this as a background. And let's actually pull a card to end it off, okay? Let's see the higher timeline cards that we have here for the golden timeline. Let's see. Let's tap in, guys, and let's see what we need this Jewel July. Okay. Let's set the intention. What is the biggest three things that we need to focus as Primal Sutra adepts, as people who are on this path, to tap into the greatest and most highest realms possible? What are the three shifts that we need to make in order to tap into these higher realms? Let's see. Let's see. Number one, is this a correct one? Yes. Okay. Number two. Okay. And number three. Is it this one? No, it's this one. Okay, got it. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Nexus. All right. So the first one we have is music. I don't know how important music is for you guys. Okay. Hey, Ryan G is here. What's up, man? So I just talked about the Lokas today. Um, check this out. So the first card I pulled for us is music. Bring yourself into divine harmony. Okay. So be conscious of the music you're listening to. Be conscious of the music you're listening to. That's number one. Number two is leisure and sport. Okay. Participate and have fun. Bring yourself into divine harmony. And finally, health and healing. Health and healing. Tune into your divine blueprint. Health and healing, leisure and sport, and music. This is the month. So see how you can maintain all three, or you hit all three of those, scoreboards, right? All right, played a little bit of sports today, just kicked around a soccer ball, or played some basketball, or, just did something of a sport, table tennis, whatever. Then I listened to some music, and then I did some inner healing for myself. If you can make this a part of your daily realm maxing, we will level up into the higher realms. Okay. So this is the message. Okay. Just a bit of a recap on everything that I just said. Let's create a bit of a recap for you guys, because this was a lot. It was a lot of information. Okay. And it might have been very difficult for you guys to understand this. So I'll just simplify, okay, for people who are showing up a bit late. I'll just simplify what I talked about. So what are the Lokas? The Lokas are like realms of consciousness. They're frequency or layers of your own mind and energy, okay? So they're mapped along your spine and subtle body. You don't go to them. You tune into them by how you breathe, by how you think, feel, and discipline yourself, okay? The higher lokas are your soul's ascension levels. Okay, so the higher ones are like physical earth, astral space, bliss states, realm of rishis, pure mind, fire yogis, truth itself, right? And the lower lokes are like addictions, distractions, dark desire, distorted power, ego in disguise and devotion, illusion manipulation, fear suppression, subconscious snakes, right? Survival panic, primal instincts, deepest ego, ignorance with power. Okay. So the lower ones offer you power, but always with a karmic price tag. And you don't just visit the higher ones, you become worthy of them. So think of it like I need enough mantra, stillness, and breath to access these higher lokes too. So think of it like this: your spine is a staircase, each chakra is a gateway to a loke. Your choices, thoughts, and focus is like an elevator control. Okay, so you're not ascending the planets, you're finding the frequencies inside yourself. So the lower lokes is actually where humanity unconsciously lives. And the higher lokes can only be earned through discipline, not through wishful thinking, not through, some visualization technique you learn, not through, you get what I mean, guys? You have to actually put in the spiritual effort, that work. You're not here to escape karma, you're here to transmute it. Yeah, it's tough to chant mantras 108 times. It is tough. But guess what? If your awareness is real, then the lokas are real. Okay? Awareness is the sun consciousness, right? You have to light it on everything. You're always in one based on your mood, intent, and energy. So Hanuman, saints, rishis, and immortal yogis still exist on these higher lokes. And again, like I said, the Gayatri mantra, if you can tap into that this month daily, it's not just a chant, it's a loka unlock code. Okay? A lot of people feel like they need to get it activated and so forth. I'm not in that belief system, so I think you can do it without being activated. Okay, don't chase cities, don't worship ego. Just become the bridge between light and shadow. Okay, you are the loke, you are the temple. Master the stairs or loop in this karmic game forever. We are in Jewel, July. Welcome to Loka Mastery 101. This transmission has been complete. Thank you so much for tapping in. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, wherever it is that you are tuning in from. And if you have any other questions, join the Telegram group, ask over there, or you can just ask in the comments too. Okay. Hey there, Mathis. Let's tap in today. Stay strong, stay relevant, stay authentic. You got this. We got this. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again.